Forgive me tomorrow. The first rays of dawn spilled gold across the bedroom floor, soft light touching everything Eleanor had left untouched since he left. She sat at the edge of the bed, hands clenched, staring at the empty side across from her. The quiet was heavy, yet familiar, like a wound that refused to close. Her phone buzzed. She froze. The screen glowed with a message. Forgive me tomorrow. Tears pricked her eyes. She had read it before, but now, with the reality pressing against her chest, it felt like a lifeline tossed across years of regret. She remembered their first meeting vividly. It had been a bustling cafe, summer sunlight streaming through the windows, the smell of coffee and pastries thick in the air. He had spilled his drink, cheeks red, fumbling for napkins, and she had laughed at the clumsy charm of it. He had apologized, eyes bright and nervous, and she had smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear, feeling a flutter in her chest she hadn't understood until years later. That moment, small, fleeting, had been the first sunrise in a life that would become entwined with his. They had loved fiercely, recklessly. But pride, misunderstandings, and the stubborn weight of old wounds had driven them apart. Words were said that could never be taken back. He had walked away, muttering apologies she refused to hear. Now, she traced her fingers over the pillow he had slept on, the mug he had left half full, the book he had always carried. Each object whispered his presence, teasing her with what once was. Her mind drifted to that stormy night, their last fight. Rain had hammered against the windows, thunder shaking the walls as they shouted. "You never listen," he had cried. "And you never tell me the truth," she had fired back. And then silence, heavy and suffocating. He had left before dawn, leaving only a note. "I hope you forgive me tomorrow." The hours dragged by as Eleanor stayed in the garden, letting the sunlight warm her damp hair. She bent down to touch the wet petals of a yellow rose, his favorite color, the one he said reminded him of her smile, bright, impossible to ignore. She remembered the first time he had given her one. She had laughed, cheeks flushed, calling him silly. He had leaned close and whispered, "It's not the rose. It's you." She smiled through tears, letting herself remember, letting herself feel. She understood now that forgiveness was not a single act, but a slow, tender unveiling of the heart. The doorbell rang, a sharp, unexpected sound. Her pulse quickened. She opened the door. There he was, drenched from a passing shower, eyes wide with relief, hands holding a bouquet of yellow roses. "I came," he said simply. "Forgive me tomorrow. I couldn't wait." Eleanor stepped forward, tears spilling freely. I thought you might never come back." He shook his head, brushing rain from his hair. "I had to ask for forgiveness, and I had to give it too." They stood, a single heartbeat stretching between them. No words could contain the weight of years, but in their gaze, in the trembling reach of hands, everything was said. He took her hands in his, warm and steady. "Forgive me tomorrow?" he asked softly, a faint smile tugging at his lips. She laughed, the sound mingling with the wind and the chirping birds. "I don't need to wait until tomorrow," she whispered. And then he kissed her. Gentle at first, hesitant, then with the weight of years and longing entwined. The world beyond the garden seemed to pause, as if granting them this stolen eternity. The roses between them glistened with dew, petals bending yet resilient, a mirror of their own fragile hearts mending. Each bloom was a promise, a memory, a lesson in love and patience. That night, they sat on the porch, wrapped in blankets, hands intertwined. The sky shimmered with stars, infinite, forgiving. Eleanor pressed her head to his shoulder. "Thank you for coming back," she whispered. He kissed the top of her head. "Thank you for waiting." And as they sat in silence, The world moved around them, but inside, time had slowed. "Forgive me tomorrow," he murmured again. This time it was not a plea. It was a promise, one they had both kept. Eleanor smiled, breathing in the scent of rain and roses, whispering softly, "I already have." The yellow petals trembled in the evening breeze, and the moonlight spilled across the garden, warm and forgiving. Rain, roses, memory, forgiveness.